Live trained.
Hi, I'm Jesse James Leja, two-time world champion boxer here in Florida with Live Train, and we're here at the beautiful Palm Beach Boxing Gym here in Florida, and I'm here with my great friend Mickey Ward. Mickey Ward, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mickey Ward. I was involved in Fight of the Year 3 times in a row, 2001, 2, and 3. Fought Arturo Gatti 3 fights. Probably one of the greatest trilogies out there in boxing. And I also fought Jesse, my man here. And in the movie, the fight was made about me. Mark Wahlberg played me. It was an Academy Award winning movie. And I'm here with Live Trained, and come join us.
Hi, my name is Maureen Shea. I'm a two-time world champion, 29-2 with 13 knockouts, Bronx born and raised. I worked with Hilary Swank in the movie $1 Million Baby. I was her primary sparring partner to prepare her for an Oscar award-winning role. I've been an MTV maid coach, which was nominated toughest maid coach in 2008. I'm still an active fighter and currently world ranked.
Herman Caicedo, owner of Caicedo Sports Training Center, pro boxing coach, manager to some fighters as well, here at Palm Beach Boxing Club, beautiful facility with Live Trained here, and grateful to be here.
Yeah, Lou Martinez. I'm the owner here at Palm Beach Boxing. Grateful that all you guys made it here, and thank you to Live Train for coming in. I am a member of the Florida Hall of Fame. I also run the state franchise for the Golden Gloves, so every year we're busy with that. Thank you.
So what we're doing here with Live Train, we want to talk about where boxing's at right now, and also how much Live Train would have benefited us, the fighters, years ago if we had this at our disposal when we first turned pro, either boxing or golf or wrestling or any other sport, how much this would have impacted our careers and given us something where I could have called Sugar Ray Leonard or Live Train with Sugar Ray Leonard, and him giving me his thoughts on what my performance are or what training tips. How much you think that would have helped us back in the day if this was around for us?
I think it would have been great because of the fact that you're training live with them. You can either train with them or you can pick their mind. You can do mindset training.
Yeah.
Like, what was you thinking in this fight, or what was you thinking in that fight, or you could like pick up tips like whatever, how to throw a punch or how to duck a punch or how to roll with a punch, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That's the unique thing about this is you get to talk to the person one-on-one. It's not a pre-recorded thing or whatever, anything like that. It's like you're one-on-one with that individual. So
Yeah.
I think that's the unique thing about it.
Heck, I think if that was around for me, I may have tried my hand at basketball.
Yeah,
maybe not basketball, but something along the line.
I can speak from a little bit different perspective. Growing up as a female, starting boxing when I was 17 back in the 90s, I looked up to the men. I really didn't. There weren't many females. Christy Martin wasn't accessible. Layla Ali, Jackie Frazier, those were the girls. The names, Lucille Riker. Those were names that I couldn't really get in touch with. And and they weren't fighting on TV much, and I couldn't go to the fights where I'm getting to see you fight Arturo Gatti, and now sitting here today, being able to kind of like share that. Being able to go online, especially if you're an active fighter, whether you're amateur, professional, and being able to speak to us and ask us questions, and also let us know like how we impacted your life and your career, and asking us deeper questions like I was able to ask both of you. I think that's super important. And I think Live Train platform is wonderful for all of that, and it'll mix just the women and the men, and because there's different styles that make fights, and everybody kind of figures out what their style is.
Right, exactly.
I think as a coach, primarily, it's a society that's at least when I started close to 30 years ago, it was a little bit secretive as far as some techniques and some styles of working, and maybe what works and doesn't work, from dieting to peaking a fighter to just every aspect of the coaching world was a little bit more secretive than what the guys here were saying, that it's accessible with fighters. They're a little bit more willing to help each other, and the coaches, it's not like that, and it's not that way today. At least I don't think. I'm definitely not that way. I do definitely open up to younger coaches that are coming in. I try to help, but that wasn't the part for me, and it's just even how I started. It was definitely a clear picture of, hey, you're not wanted here, you got to go. And that's a scenario that I hope will change, and I think Live Train can be that.
Yeah.
Definitely that train that moves it forward, and I'm excited to be a part of that as a coach, definitely.
Lou?
Wow, how times have changed, because if you think back when we were fighting, there wasn't any. You could maybe try to show up at a show where somebody was going to be fighting at, and try to catch them on their way to their locker room, you know. But now you can actually go online and live speak with someone and get the information right at hand, you know, go right to the gym and put it to work right away, you know. There's no way. The live trained is it's the new wave.
Yeah, and I think you hit that right on the head. Is everything was so secretive, and I was the same way too. When I learned something, I said, "Oh man, I know a new style. I know what to do and how to move certain ways. I'm gonna keep this for myself because I don't want anyone else learning what I may fight the guy one day, but one thing I've learned too is successful people will bring you up with them.
Yes.
And unsuccessful people will pull you down with them.
Step
And I
on you on
think,
the way
yeah,
out.
and I think we've all been successful in our sports, and we want to pull people along. We want to help the generation or the younger generation not make the mistakes that we made, and show them how we've been fighting forever now, and we have so much experience that we can give someone that's just starting out on day one. And he doesn't have to go through all the mistakes that we've made and all the things that don't work and do work. We can just tell him right now, this is what works. You can do it your own way, but this is what works for us. And that's what I said. Successful people will pull you with them. We want to pull people with us.
Yeah, sometimes, people just feel like, at least back then, that, why it was such a secret is because, for whatever reason they had. But it really comes down to always and will always be is the fighter, right? And then, of course, the individual passing on that information.
Yeah.
He's not a good coach, right? And
Yeah.
there's many, ways to compare what
Yeah.
a good coach is. But if that individual can't, really push that information forward, it doesn't matter if it's the best information in the world. He's not going to be able to pass that along.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things and ways that even if you have it and you think, okay, this is the way to win every single fight, if you are not capable of doing that, so I think that this platform, at least, you can now see and maybe learn how to be that way, right?
Yeah.
Because it's sometimes, you can be good at something, but you just can't pass it on.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
And I'm
you're right.
speaking as a coach, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of fighters have fell to this.
The fighters have to be
Not
receptive too.
necessary-
Yeah, fighters got to receive that information.
Coaching, and this might be a platform that enables the fighters who are looking for something like that from another fighter who maybe, they think, hey, he lived it, he breathed it. And,
Or she.
Yeah.
Or she, yeah.
Yeah, or
We're
she.
gonna be female here.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I get it.
But and I know you know what, but you are certainly right. But the thing is, at live train, everyone's the same. No one's different. We're all striving to be the best. We're all striving to learn something new. We're all we don't know. We bring everyone with us.
Of course.
You know? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
And the great thing too is you can, you don't have to just be like a fighter or whatever. You can be a trainer talking about.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just gonna mention that.
Yeah.
Or,
It's
a different fight, or coaching a fighter who may be
And learn
more-
from them and pick little.
Yeah.
Because boxing's a puzzle. It's a big puzzle.
Huge
And
puzzle.
you put little pieces together.
Yeah.
You're never gonna. I think it's a puzzle you're probably never gonna finish.
Right.
But you keep putting the pieces together.
Right.
You know what I love about it?
You learn off this one.
I love his perspective. You have a different perspective than him. I have a different perspective than everybody comes from a different perspective.
Yeah, but we can't all be right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
So it's
kidding.
you, you're the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I think it's perspective, and I think people connect with different people for whether it's sharing your background, sharing where you came from. I know earlier I was listening to you sharing your story, and there was a lot that you and I related to that I didn't know.
Yeah.
That now I know with your amateur background, similar to
Yeah,
mine.
yeah.
And it doesn't matter male, female. It's perspective and it's
yeah.
just connection. And I
It's
think
a
that's
struggle that we both had to endure and surpass and really train.
Excellence.
We had 2 years as amateurs, and we had to play catch up the whole time.
You have to learn on the job.
Yeah,
You said
yeah,
it.
you're on the
Learn
job,
on the job.
always,
And I
yeah.
think that's something that people, that when they connect with us and, whatever the platform is, and I say it especially for young girls, because I think now that women's boxing is now a little
Yeah.
bit more on the forefront,
Really
young
taking up.
girls feel, I know for me, I was kind of like, all right, can I talk to this guy? I didn't really, I wasn't sure because it wasn't there. Maybe there's some men that I could speak to, maybe there's some that I couldn't, but I think being on the platform with you wonderful, champions and people in your own right, that I can kind of say, hey, they're accessible just like me. And it's just different perspective.
Yeah.
We're all humans here.
Yeah.
Well said, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think with this live train, where you can reach us anywhere around the world. If you want to get a workout in, and you're in Europe, hey, you can still call. Maybe the time difference may be different, but we can set up in a schedule where I can train you, and while you're in Europe on vacation, and that's just or any one of us, and you can. It's just an amazing thing to have, and I wish that could have been around when we first started fighting. Right. So who would you have picked to call up and have him give you some tips and pointers?
Well, I have called I don't know.
You know, for someone,
For a fighter?
yeah, maybe like a Hagler, right? Because he would have that same, yeah, he had that same
Something
kind of style you have.
Maybe, guys like that. I like the old time fighters too. Like you get someone like a Kamagazi in, or you talk to him and see
Yeah.
how in his mind, how tough how do you fight through all the things, whatever. And what was your mindset going to this or that? And did you ever want to quit, or did you ever want to? Guys that were like drag out warriors, you know what I mean? Something like that. I kind of fought like that, so
That was your style?
try not to be. But
Well, so here's the thing that you can pick our brain. You don't only have to get boxing tips, but you can also get mental tips. So how many people in every sport, I don't care what sport you're playing or you're in, but how many people say, well, golf is 60% mental, 80% mental, boxing 70% mental, 80% mental, football is all mental game. Who practices mental? How do you practice mental? We all say it, but who actually does it? How do we do it? How can we tell them, well, this is how I did it. This is how I practice I mentally focus every single day for what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna fight. I visualize everything that's happening to me. I go to sleep visualizing my hand being raised every fight. You have to visualize, but it's a mental practice. So that's something we can share with you is how do we get these things going through every day? How do we mentally prepare for training camp? How do we mentally prepare for a fight? How do we mentally prepare to make weight? Because it's a lot of struggle in everything that we do, but there's a way that I did it. There's a way how you did it. And we all do it our certain way. So maybe, hey, I want to pick his brain. How did Sugar Ray Leonard prepare for this fight? What was he thinking while he's dieting? What was he thinking while he's going to sleep? How did he visualize? And that's what we can share with everyone as well.
That's another great thing about Live Train, that a lot of the people in it are old school people, where the younger generation nowadays, they don't know the real history of boxing.
Yeah.
They can learn it from Live Train or call and get some tips on that and talk to
Get a
somebody
new
on it.
perspective on a
Because
different
that's,
perspective.
if
yeah.
you think about it, when Mike Tyson was upcoming, he was a historian of boxing.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
he went back to all those schools.
You're right.
None of these young kids even know who Willie Pep is anymore,
talking about that earlier.
Great fighters. So it's an avenue to get back into the history of boxing with Live Train.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's phenomenal. For me, I was blessed early on. I come from martial arts background, so when I started as a boxing coach very early, I was 20 or 21 years old, and I decided that I wanted to make sure what I was teaching my kickboxers was legit, at least punching lines. It's funny because I just told Lou that I came to this gym. This was the gym that I came to.
Yeah.
And
How long we've been.
it was just a fly on the wall, just trying to get some information. Because of that, if a Live Train was around, I could have probably just logged on and paid a coach to do it. Right? I had to come and clean spit buckets and mirrors and just watch. And I ended up, thankfully, I got thrown out of this gym because it was like, what's he doing here? And I ended up at another great coach's gym at the time. It was Angelo Dundee, and since passed, but that was who mentored me for many years, about 10 years, and I was able to get great information from him live on, but you can't do that back then.
That would be great.
That
would be great to tune in and Live Train with Angelo Dundee, huh?
Yeah.
Emmanuel Stewart.
Right, if that was available back then, I would have done it because that's what I was seeking.
Yeah.
I was looking for
Info. You want to get
information, and I didn't.
You were a sponge trying to absorb
sponge
everything,
trying
and
to
now you can.
absorb.
And now we can get a hold of 10 different guys or 10 different trainers or fighters and absorb as much as we could from them and get
No
ahead.
matter your location,
Yeah, exactly.
where you are in the country.
Mind each person and just take a little out of each person.
Yeah.
Whatever you like, you keep. Whatever you don't.
The
Right.
accessibility of it is what I think is
Yeah.
so wonderful, and I think the actual premise of what this can do. I mean, just all sports, right? And the best of the sports, and you can just do that. That's priceless.
I think the outside of it is so important, of knowing the person, having that connection personally with the person. Like I said, when I was listening to your story, Mickey and I have connected, knowing who you are before boxing, outside of the ring, because that's such a huge part of who you are inside of the ring, and they really complement each other.
Yeah.
So I think getting to know us as individuals and seeing that, wow, like I know for myself, if I could have, I have Christy Martin on my phone now, but if I would have had her back then, I have a million questions from a female perspective, because some of you guys couldn't answer those questions for me. And some of the coaches didn't train women, so they didn't know, you know,
Yeah.
we're going through this, we're going through that. Like we were understanding our, you know, because we fight a little bit differently, you know, so we have other things that we're fighting that you guys don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
So we're just having that information. So I think for myself being part of this and being able to share those things so that those young girls don't have to go through that, or helping the male coaches or the male fighters kind of understand, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
what women are kind of going through
Yeah.
and why we approach things a little bit differently, you know, just like I said, perspective and just a different outlook. And it,
Yeah.
but that's how we can all work in harmony
Yeah.
and still respect and support each other.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole purpose of Live Train is to move forward, give people information,
Absolutely.
and give something that we've learned, and not have to wait all these years to learn it, but give it to you right then.
While it's still fresh in our
Yeah,
brain.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or so first, but so you know, in closing, I just want to say thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
I want to
Thank you for
thank
having
Live
us.
Train for starting this program, because it'll be a great, successful program. I can't wait for the next generation to learn from us
That's right.
on Live
Absolutely.
Train.
Live train.
That's it.
Live train.
Live trained.